What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So I have some really good news to share with you guys today when it comes to Social Security and how people feel about Social Security. Do they think that they'll be able to receive Social Security when they retire? That's what we're going to focus on in this video. There was a Gallup poll that was just put out, and the news that came back from this Gallup poll was good. And so I'm going to share that information with you. But first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, and then click all. By clicking all, you'll get notified anytime we post a video. We do daily videos here, so by clicking the bell notification and clicking all, you should be getting updated every day. And just a reminder, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. And if you'd like to follow me on Twitter and Threads, you can at the TEC Show Live. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about this, but why are we talking about this? Why is this good news? If you guys have watched my channel, you know how I feel about politicians talking about Social Security going bankrupt. You'll have politicians that will come out and say, Social Security is going bankrupt in 10 years. That's why we need to make drastic changes. They'll say all of this stuff, and it's just not true. It's not the facts. The facts are the trust fund will run out of money in 10 years. However, Social Security is paid mainly by the payroll tax, so Social Security will still be around. If Congress does nothing in 10 years, Social Security will only be able to put out about 80% of the benefits. So that means that you're going to take a hit of about 20%, a 20% cut. However, Social Security as a whole will not be going bankrupt. And when you have lawmakers out there saying that it's going bankrupt, the American people start to believe that it's going bankrupt. And so they start saying, you know what? Why am I investing money into the Social Security when it's not going to be there for me? Why should I be paying into this payroll tax when that money will not be there for me when I retire? And that is not the truth. But lawmakers are putting that out there because you have some lawmakers that want to do away with Social Security. And this is their way of doing away with it. Getting the American people to believe that it's going bankrupt. That way the American people will say, you know what, we need another option. Let's do privatized Social Security, or let's just put more money into 401ks and have a different type of retirement plans. That is the strategy for some lawmakers. But the good news, and let me show you this. The good news is that this Gallup poll was done, and it says Americans more upbeat about future of Social Security benefits. Okay, so we're going to talk about this because this is good news. We're going to look at some of the polls that they did, and we will we'll see what the numbers look like. Okay, so here's the first poll here, and it says, do you think Social Security system will be able to pay you benefits when you retire? Okay, now these are people, I believe these are people at the age of 50. Somewhere around the age of 50. So they're before retirement age, okay? So when you're looking at this, you see 50% of the people that were polled says yes, they think that Social Security benefits will be there when they retire. And then you have 47 that say that no, we don't think that Social Security will be there, okay? Now, it's close. It is very close. I will admit that. But it has gotten better over the years because it used to be even worse. And then it says further, it says 53% of the current U.S. retirees believe they will continue to receive their full Social Security benefits, and that's up from 37% in 2010 and 49% in 2015. So you see that even the people that are currently receiving Social Security benefits, they feel that they're going to be able to continue receiving their Social Security benefits without cut. Okay, so let's look at the next a poll here. It says, do you think Social Security system will be able to continue to pay your full benefits, or do you think there will eventually be cuts in your benefits? Okay, so this is very important for us to look at. So the green right here is showing us that yes, they think that they will be able to continue to receive the full benefits. That's 53%. 43%. What are they saying? They think that there will be a cut to their benefits. So you see the vast majority of the American people think that they'll be able to receive their Social Security benefits at the full benefit level, and not see any cuts, okay? Now, when we're looking over the years, 2005, you saw where it was 30%. 2010, it went up real high actually here to where people thought that they were not going to receive their full benefits. And then 2015, that's when around 2000, we'll say 2014, that's when they saw this split here and it started to move up. And so the news is getting out. So that's the good news that I'm talking about. the American people are starting to realize that you have some lawmakers that are trying to do away with Social Security, and the way that they're trying to do away with it is by saying that it's not working, it's going bankrupt, it will not be there for you. That way you'll want to make changes. So the good news is that people are onto this now, and they realize, you know what, Social Security will still be around. Congress does need to act. They have a little bit of time, but they need to do it the sooner the better when it comes to moving forward with Social Security reform. But I think people are more educated now when it comes to Social Security, and they realize that you have the payroll tax that's paying the bulk of the Social Security benefits right now, and then you have the trust fund, which they're drawing from the trust fund only because the payroll tax is not paying it at 100%. Now, one thing that they can do, raise the payroll tax, and that's something that I think really needs to be talked about more. But you have lawmakers that are afraid to talk about raising taxes. But I think the vast majority of the American people will buy into this if you told them, look, we need to preserve Social Security. The trust fund is the issue right now. We don't want to see a 23% cut. So if we raise your payroll tax by 1%, you're not going to see that 23% cut in 10 years. Are you okay with that? I think the vast majority of the American people would look at that and say, you know what? That sounds like a fair deal. So we'll pay a little bit more in, and we won't see that 23% cut. So let's go ahead and move on. Let's see what else they're saying here. Okay, so now we're looking at the age groups. Okay, so from 18 to 29, from 30 to 49, and then 50 or older. So looking at this, it says, do you think Social Security system will be able to pay you a benefit when you retire? Okay, so looking at, let's start with the green here. So that's 18 to 29. You see the little dip there, and then it moves back up. And so now that's at about 50%. So 50% of people between the ages of 18 and 29 think that, yes, I'll be able to receive a retirement from Social Security. Now, when we go to 30 to 49, that's the dotted line here. And so that dotted line goes down. It actually kind of follows the same pattern as the green line here, but then you see it drops off here. So 37%. So that's people between the age of 30 and 49. Now, when we look at people 50 and older, you see what it did here, kind of dropped down a little bit, moved up a little, and it's at 66% right now. So it's staying pretty steady when you're looking at that. So most people at that age, around 50 or older, they're thinking, okay, yeah, I should be able to receive my full retirement. Now, lawmakers are also saying this, and this is probably why the younger generations are looking at Social Security a little bit differently, because you have lawmakers saying that we're not going to touch Social Security for people who are retired right now or people who may retire in a few years. We're not going to touch it. But people who are younger, they're going to have to make some sacrifices, basically what lawmakers are saying. Nikki Haley is saying this. She says this every time she goes on debate. She talks about this, and she always says the same thing. And so now you have the younger generation looking at that and saying, well, if they're going to make some changes, that means that they're probably going to make some cuts to Social Security, and it might not be there for me when I retire. When the reality is, and I'm going to say this for the third time, Social Security will still be there. Even if lawmakers don't move forward with reform, Social Security will still be there, but there will be some cuts. Okay, so we know that already. But the program is not going bankrupt, so even if you're younger in the younger generations, you're still going to be able to receive some Social Security benefits, okay? You might not be able to receive it at 100%. I think that Congress, they have no choice but to actually provide a revenue stream, so to actually raise taxes or do something. They have no choice. They're not going to let Social Security, the trust fund, just completely go bankrupt. They're not going to do that. They're going to raise a payroll tax in order to provide the benefits that are needed for people. So it's just not going to happen. They just don't want to be the one to say, hey, we need to raise taxes, but it's going to happen. That's the only option. And I think some lawmakers are kind of just playing this out and thinking, you know what, maybe I'll get out of office right before this happens because I don't want to be that politician that was known for raising taxes, which is ridiculous, because if you're helping the American people, you're helping the American people. If that means that you need to raise taxes at times, that means you need to make those tough decisions. That's what leaders do. So, okay, let's look at a few more of these polls here. Now, this is an interesting one, too. So they're looking at the breakdown of the parties. So the Democrats, Independents, and Republicans, how do they feel about Social Security. Okay, now some of this stuff was pretty interesting because I was a little shocked at some of the results here, but we'll take a look. So, non-retirees expect to receive Social Security benefits. So you haven't retired yet, and so Democrats, you see 60% here. They say yes, they expect to receive Social Security benefits. Now, when we're looking at independents, it's 45%, and then when we're looking at Republicans, it's 50%. Now, this is interesting because independents are lower when it comes to thinking about, are you going to be able to receive Social Security benefits? They're the lowest out of everything. I would think that the Republicans would have been lower. And the only reason that I say that is because you have lawmakers, usually on the Republican side, that are talking about Social Security going bankrupt. And so when you're looking at this, independents are the ones that are really a little skeptical about receiving their Social Security benefits. And then when you see no down here, so the question was, do you expect to receive Social Security benefits? No, Democrats at 39%, independents at 51%, and then Republicans at 48%. So you see independents here. That was pretty shocking to me that those numbers came out there. Now, retirees' expectations for maintaining benefits will continue to get full benefits. Okay, so Democrats here, they're at about 59%, independents at 53%, and then Republicans at 39%. Now, this is what I was talking about. I would think that we would see this because you have a lot of talk when it comes to the Republican lawmakers. They're talking about how bad Social Security is and how we need to protect Social Security. You'll hear lawmakers say that. Both Republicans and Democrats say we need to protect Social Security. But there's a lot of misinformation out there about the program going bankrupt. And a lot of that misinformation is coming from lawmakers on the Republican side saying that it's going bankrupt. The whole program is going bankrupt. And so now you have the general public thinking, okay, well, if it's going bankrupt or we're going to see these cuts. Even if they say the trust fund's going bankrupt, they're talking about, yes, there's going to be cuts. We need to reform it. Some lawmakers are not even talking about reforming it. They're just telling you that it's going bankrupt, and they don't really give any solutions. So you see Democrats, for the most part, they're thinking that we're not going to see cuts. Okay, they'll be able to get the full benefits. But then when you move over to the Republican Party, they're looking at those cuts. And when you see down at the bottom here, there will be cuts. Democrats are at 27%, independents are at 44%, and then we have 56% of Republicans thinking that it will go bankrupt. So I just wanted to show you this mainly because let's do one more here. It says, if you had to choose one of the following approaches to ensure Social Security's long-term future, would you rather raise Social Security tax or curb the amount of benefits for future Social Security recipients? Okay, this is a no-brainer. Should be a no-brainer, right? So raise taxes. You see what's happened here. So it's kind of gone down, and then it flatlined here, and now it's moving back up. 61% of people here are saying that they would rather see the payroll tax increase, okay? They don't want to see the cuts. And so the 31% there in blue, curb benefits. Don't curb benefits. You're going to have to pull in more revenue. So I just wanted to show you this. This is actually good news because it's showing. And believe it or not, lawmakers do look at some of these polls, okay? They're going to look at Gallup because that is a very popular platform to do polls. So they're going to look at this, and hopefully they'll get something from this. They'll understand, one, that the American people are okay with raising taxes in this situation, and then they'll also see that the vast majority of the American people right now understand that Social Security is not going bankrupt. It will still be there, and they want to have their benefits. So even the younger generation understands that they'll be able to get their benefits when they retire. But Congress still needs to act to reform Social Security. And that's why we talk a lot about this on this channel, because I'm trying to inform people, because I hear this all the time. And anytime I hear a lawmaker come out and say Social Security is going bankrupt, I always call them out on that, because they need to be called out on it, because they're not telling you the truth. They're talking specifically about one aspect, the trust fund, but they're making it sound like it's the whole program. And that's just not how it works. So if you guys have questions, let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.